Hello and welcome to Nick's Allotment Diary.
It's a cold and showery day on the plot today. I shall give you a short plot tour. We're into the winter months now here in the UK, and we tend to get quite wet winters in the area where I am. This is the bed where I planted Brussel sprout plants, some cabbages, and this is the purple sprouting broccoli, which hopefully should produce broccoli in the spring. Apologies for the noise today. It's quite windy at the plot and I'm very near a main road, so you'll hear quite a bit of traffic noise. This bed is clear now. This was one I had pumpkins in and onions last year, as is this bed and the central bed. So I've got three beds that don't have anything growing in them at the moment, although I do plan to put a couple of rows of garlic in one of the beds. The kale is still doing well. Got quite a bit of kale, so I'm going to pick some of that today. We've got the black Tuscan kale and we have the red Russian kale here. Here we have the Kalette plants that we planted way back in February. They're just now starting to form almost sprout-like little cabbage kale type crosses. They're forming all along the stem, and I've got 4 plants, so I should be able to harvest some of them soon. Strawberry bed is quite overgrown now. It needs a bit of work over the winter. I'm going to have to pull off all the old dead leaves, pull away some of this grass that's growing onto the strawberry bed. Here is the big compost bin that I still haven't done anything with. The compost bin is not going to stay in this position. It needs to be moved from here over into the compost area, which is over here, which is in a bit of a mess. This is the messy area of Nick's allotment that you don't normally see. We all have these areas that need quite a bit of work. So over the winter, that'll be my job, will be to clear one of those compost bins that's got horse manure in. The fruit cage is dormant now. The plants are all resting over the winter period. The strawberry tub with the perpetual strawberries has still got some pink flowers on, amazingly. This is sort of recorded late November. And we have some strawberries in pots there. Lots of strawberries growing in this area. We have the blueberry plants there. Black currants. The black currants need cutting back over the winter. I'm going to restrict the number of plants I've got. And then I've got a blackberry plant that needs moving out of this cage and putting somewhere else. And we've got the red currants and gooseberries in this area too. The flower bed has all died back now. The roses are finished, they need cutting back. Pruning quite close to the ground this year, I think. We have the lavender here, that needs cutting back. All the calendula that were growing in this area have now seeded, and if you look on the ground here you'll see some of the seed pods, seed husks. So there'll be plenty of seeds for new plants to grow next year. There are still, even in this cold, wet weather, there are still a few calendulas that are flowering. The nasturtium has died back now. We've had some frosts. They don't like frost at all, so they're all dying back now. Again, though, they will have self-seeded in this area, so I should get some new plants next year. Leeks, they're definitely ready for harvest, these ones on this side now. So I will be harvesting some of those in the next few weeks. The broad beans, these were the ones that the mice had self-sown round the plot, and I've put them in a row. They're doing really well. And some of the ones that I planted, I don't know whether you can see, there's a few coming up. That one at the back there, that one there, a few on this row. So they're a bit sporadic, I think because the mice have been nibbling some of the shoots off, or maybe the birds. I'm not quite sure who it is, but what I'm going to do, on the advice of somebody else on YouTube, was maybe make some cloches out of plastic bottles and put them over the ones that are emerging out of the soil. So hopefully that should protect them. These are the leeks that I planted a month or so ago. These ones are doing well now, they're starting to pick up, and they should provide some leeks in the early spring. The raspberries are just about finished now. There are still a few on the canes, but the frost will have got to those, I think. I'll just pick a few more that look as if they're ripe now. Then I think it's time to leave those then over the winter. I will be returning to this bed and weeding it and removing any of the bindweed roots that still are probably present in this area. I did get some bindweed this year, but nowhere near as much after the work I did last year to dig out the bindweed roots. I hope you enjoyed this little tour of the plot, and you can now see what I've got growing over the winter.
Thanks very much for joining me at Nick's Allotment. I'll see you again next time.